Hi, my name's Claire, and I'm here to talk about my music video that I created for the Emagine contest. I untitled it New Directions, and I did this because in the video it shows this girl who goes from having a really negative attitude at the beginning of her day and how it spreads out to different people, and then just a little bit of kindness that someone shows her changes her whole perspective, and she goes in new directions, and she restarts her day. It shows her rewinding and restarting her day, and then she ends up being happy and positive and spreading that positivity to other people. So what I'm going to talk about is a little bit of what I did to do this. Here I'm going to show you a little bit of the video first. It's the song that I use is called Sideways by Citizen Cope, and I really like this song because I think it really reflected the mood.
You know it ain't easy for these thoughts to leave me. There are no words to describe it in French or in English, 'cause diamonds they fade.
So yeah, that was a little bit of it. I want to go back and show you guys something. I wondered if you noticed this. When she came in, everything's still black and white. And again, I like the song choice because it kind of had that dragging feeling. It made you feel a little bit laggy. But if you see her backpack, if you watch her backpack, it goes from being
In French or in English
to dulling over here. If you watch it, see how it loses color? That's one thing I really learned how to do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later too. So what I did to complete this project, first I had to film all of the scene, and it took about 2.5 to 3 hours to film all of this. And then I made sure that I had everything in order first, and then I went into iMovie. I exported everything into iMovie, which I'll pull up right now. And then I sort of, what I like to do, so I kind of arranged everything and how I wanted to do, and then I started cutting and cutting and cutting. But yeah, and then I kind of just smushed everything together. And then once I kind of got an idea of what more the things that I needed, like I knew with my pictures that I had taken the day I filmed, I knew I kind of wanted them to have a different effect, like in the scene that I showed you, how it had going from the bright color to the dulling color. I used Photoshop for that, and to do that, what I basically did is I took, hold on, let me open it, is that I took this lasso tool over here when the picture was still in full color. I took it and I zoomed in to the backpack and I highlighted around it, and then I went up to image, and I went into select, and you didn't have that. It would be highlighted, but I went to inverse, and then that selected the outside of it, which would be where it is black and white. And then I went up to adjustments, black and white, and I applied that. And then it gave me this effect. And I also dulled the color down a little bit by going into brightness and contrast, and it really gave that effect of it. The color just kind of draining from the backpack, and the backpack would symbolize her feelings and her emotions that Liz kind of spread into her. So Liz's negative emotions spread into that girl, and it showed that with the backpack. Next thing I used is I also, with all the photos that I had to end up taking, I stored them in iPhoto. Something that was really complicated with this scene that I showed you with the backpack scene is that was actually, like the pictures in there, that was actually a film. So I had to go into there, I had to take that piece of film that was actually only about 2.5 seconds, and I had to cut the clip as far as it would go, and then I had to highlight it, and see how it kind of has these little dragging motions right here where it stops. I had to take a screenshot of that right there, and then I had to import those all into iMovie, and then I had to decide what pictures can I cut out to create that stop motion effect, because I really wanted that dulling of the backpack color. So in order to do that, it took about 100 screenshots. It took a long time. Let's see. So things that worked well in my project. I really had some great people that I was working with. Like that 3 hours of filming, it took a long time. They had to stay after school, and they were just really nice about that. So the people, like, you have to have good people. I learned that to film. If you're gonna use actors, make sure they're in for the long run. Photoshop, I really liked, like, again, that aspect of the backpack changing color. I really like that. And there's also a scene down here where it shows this, it shows a piece of paper gaining color in different aspects. In stop motion, you see that down here. How the color adds to it, and it gradually adds. It goes from being just one color to getting another color to getting another color. I also did that in Photoshop, and that was really easy. Something that some other things that I learned again more about iMovie. I learned about the things you can and can't do, what works. Something that didn't really work in iMovie, I learned that because it doesn't save, it makes it a little temperamental to work with. But that's one thing that you just got to deal with. But other than that, iMovie worked really well. My planning, again, like, I cannot stress this enough. Planning for the projects and filming stuff, it requires major work. So I just had to make sure that I had everything planned out, and it went pretty well for the most part. To go along with that, what it takes to make movies, like the amount of work that went into it, I definitely had to dedicate a lot of hours into this movie. It may not look like much, but it took a long time. Something else I learned is on-the-spot problem solving and planning. While we were filming, something like an idea just popped into my mind, and we filmed it, and it ended up working really well. But yeah, on-the-spot solving and stuff, sometimes, like, when our film right here, where it shows people being stacked up and having to find the people to do this one morning, the morning that we started filming, the people that I had asked didn't show up and didn't tell me they weren't going to show up, so I had to go out and ask some people to be in it, and it kind of threw me off a little bit. But other than that, it was nice. And other things that I learned, angle shots and stuff like that. I learned that a simple angle shot, like a close-up shot, let's see down here, really kind of captures the mood. Like here, where she kind of sighs and looks up, and it just makes you just really see into her personality, what's going on right there. But yeah, angle shots and camera angles, it just really adds effects to it that you don't really think about, but if you plan them out a certain way, then they show a certain emotion or mood, which is really kind of what I wanted to get across with this video. I learned more about cameras in general, just like working them. And something else which is kind of works well with here, like, I learned that when I was filming, I learned to accept something when it wouldn't work. Like, I had a certain idea, and it just ended up not working, and I just kind of had to let that go. So that was a really good thing for me to learn during filming. Things that I would do different. Learn how to keep the camera straight when I'm doing stop motion. Here, I was walking, I didn't really have a tripod, and so if you can see, it's kind of different, moves around, and it changes right there. You see that? Where it changes like different angles. Like, I think it would have had a better effect if it had stayed straight instead of moving from here to here to here to here to here to here. You get what I'm saying, though. So stop motion, if you're doing something like that, you gotta keep the camera straight, or plan out certain angles so it moves in a smooth fashion. Okay. Another thing, light control. I kind of patched it up here. I wanted to keep this at the beginning. I I kind of had an idea that I wanted to keep this beginning scene color and then kind of dull it down later, but it didn't really work out because I don't know if you can tell, but like here and like they were different colors. Like this scene right up here would be completely so bright, and then down here it would have like a dull like dark color to it, like because the lighting source was completely different when I took the pictures, and I didn't really think about that. So next time I got to think about controlling the light source. Um, Anything other than that, just planning more of the angles, like researching a little bit more would have been nice. Some more things that I learned in this process were about the programs, like all the programs I used. I used iMovie, Photoshop, iPhoto. I exported it with QuickTime. I looked a little bit up with Final Cut Pro, which turned out not to work, but I did have to mess around for a couple days on that. And I learned some more things on Final Cut, which is really nice for future references. But yeah, that's my Emagine project. It's entitled, once again, New Directions. And that's about it. Thanks.